Welcome everybody. In tonight's video, the surprise tool that I will be reviewing today is doesn't want to steer when it's heavy. I may be 27 years old, but I'll never outgrow RC cars. That's just a fact of life. Main tool for this video, the OLIGHT OTACLE P1. This is a fantastic little tool. Now, yes, I'm going to get this out of the way right now. You've probably already seen this tool. If you're big on small multi-tools that are not from like the big hitters like Leatherman, Gerber, Victorinox, some of those, you may already recognize or have heard of this tool from Nextool, Nextool. They have a model called the Mini Sailor, which is basically this. OLIGHT seems to have copied Nextool here, or at least has gone through some sort of contract to sell this tool under their name. Excuse me, dust on my tabletop here. But this is a good little tool, and let's get into what all it has. Starting off, we have spring-loaded pliers. Now, I should also mention that this and the Nextool are very close in price. This is just a little bit more expensive, coming in at around $20, where I have seen the Nextools down at around $16. But if you want like the black aluminum scales that have OLIGHT's little pattern on it that they do on their flashlights all the time, $4 more ain't that bad. Starting off with probably a surprising best thing I like about this thing is the scissors. Yes, they are tiny. Let's compare them to some other scissors from popular multi-tools. Victorinox Mini Champ and Style CS. Style CS definitely has bigger scissors than a lot of multi-tools, even the full-size multi-tools, but there's that comparison there. You can pause the video if you want. Let's pull out the SOG snips. Those are a little bit bigger than these two, but all in all, the Victorinox I think have just a little bit more depth than the OLIGHT, just a couple millimeters at best more depth. But these are chunky. They go through fingernails like they're not even there. I've done fingernail trimming with these already. This is my favorite little manicure scissors already. I love these things. And when you go to close them up, you open them up like that and snap them down. They got this nice little notch right here for pulling them out, slipping them around, and going snip snip. Fantastic little set here. Up next we have this. This is a dual can opener and bottle cap lifter. And comparing this to the Leatherman, what is it, the Juice series multi-tool, I really wish OLIGHT would have gone with a file here instead of this combo tool, because no one really needs bottle openers or can openers. I really wish they'd have gone with a more like a chisel, a file, a larger flathead, a serrated knife, something like that, something more usable, because I'm really not going to ever use this. I'm not a bottle drinker. I mean, I know there's more drinks than beer that come in glass bottles, but like I really don't use bottles all that often, and I've already carried multiple multi-tools, and between some of those, I've got bottle cap lifters galore. You meet me in public, you need a bottle cap lifted, I got you covered. I don't need another one. And so I really wish going forward that if OLIGHT makes another model of this, that they swap this out for something else other than this. Just to keep that in mind. OLIGHT, if you see this, please consider that, because like no one really is going to drink that much if they need to have a dedicated bottle cap lifter. I'm sorry. And if you're shooting at the world of EDC people, Most of us already got coins and other stuff that have a fancier bottle cap lifter that we like to use more. This is not a fun bottle cap lifter, or at least if you're going to do something, do what Leatherman did and put it integral into the multi-tool there, where you don't have to open it up to get to the tool. Just saying. Up next we have the main knife blade. Let's compare this in size to some other well-known heavy hitters. Victorinox Mini Champ. And we're going to go SOG Power Pint. SOG Power Pint definitely has a little bit more reach than the Olight, and the Olight's got a little bit more reach and more beef than the big blade on the Victorinox. So there's that size comparison. And while I'm at it, this is a prime example of the differences I see between a Wharncliffe blade and a sheep's foot blade. This, I feel, is a Wharncliffe's blade. This is a very good example. It starts tapering way back here and then maybe starts to steepen a little bit at the tip. That's a Wharncliffe. Sheep's foot stays pretty much straight all the way out with a much sharper drop off to the tip. This is just a good example between the two. So that's just me, and I hate people calling stuff Wharncliffes that are really sheep's foots, and sheep's foots that are really Wharncliffes. It just kind of annoys the daylights out of me. I think they call this a sheep's foot blade on their website. That's fine. I don't care too much. Up next, we have the two main screwdrivers. I do love these screwdrivers, by the way. They're thick enough to be a handy little pry tool. The Phillips is really great. I do love how that's laid out. They got just enough reach to be handy, but they're not overly long in this tool. And they don't overlap, which is nice. They've packed them in there about as tight as possible. And then the two secret tools in this tool are, and one of them is really not a tool, it's more of an accessory. One is the lanyard ring, which also, I should also mention that when connected to an S-biner or some sort of lanyard, you go to open the Phillips driver and you cannot open it all the way without disconnecting the clip somehow, which for most instances is not going to be an issue, but could be buggersome for, excuse me, burps every single time, could be an issue for some people. Just take note of that. If you're a keychain multi-tool kind of guy, that could become a problem if you work with Phillips a lot. The last tool on here is a SIM card removal tool. Now, in this grand scheme of tech and stuff that we have in this world today, I see this as a very handy little tool to add. It takes up virtually no room in the multi-tool itself. Yeah, I could probably snap this off. It's so thin. It's going to take a little bit of effort to do so. It is well made, but you may not use it to remove a SIM card per se, but there's also a lot of phones and devices out there where the SD card shares the same slot as the SIM card. And so if you're swapping that out a lot, having this little tool could be very handy, because the little tiny SIM card removal tools that you get that come with your phone or whatever, you lose those things so fast. They're so small, you can't put them on a keychain. They stab you in the leg if you got it hooked to your belts. You know, this just tucks away in the tool, doesn't poke you, and could also possibly be used as a toothpick. Food for thought there. So, yeah, this is going to be pretty doggone handy. I see this as a win for OLIGHT. Also, it has Torx screws for the body here, which are T6 screws, just so you know. You can disassemble this tool, although I do not suggest you do so. Mine came in perfect condition. I don't see a need to change that unless you want to modify the scales, which could be an option given that these are very simple scales to design something for. all in all, it's a great tool. It sits down in my... I'm not someone that likes to put stuff in my front pockets of my pants, other than like my big phone, because it's kind of like spread out in snowshoes, the weight and shape and stuff. But I have put this down in the front pocket of my pants, and I love it. It is just a good size for tucking down in there. This tool is already just been so amazing. I've carried this a few days now. Some oil working out of the pivot there. These are good sized little pliers too for what you're getting. I mean, they're nowhere's really near the abilities of the SOG Power Pint, but they are, if you do favor the Victorinox Swiss Army plier size, that's very comparable to that in many ways. You might, if you like this as your pliers a lot, this may be a good set for you. And especially with Leatherman having like recently discontinued the Juice series multi-tool. If I understood Max Level EDC, go check him out, great YouTuber. If I understood him correctly, like Leatherman discontinued the Juice series multi-tool out of nowhere. With no warning, no sales, just it's gone. Or they may restock them, but it's like currently out of stock or something. It's like it's not looking good for Leatherman. So if you want like a Juice sized multi-tool with a comparable setup to the Juice in terms of tools and functionality, this is a good option. I'm calling it the OTACLE. Like some people say the OTACLE. I'm going to say OTACLE. And then this is the P1, because if you look up OTACLE, you get a single blade razor knife. This is not an OTACLE, this is a Giltech Ruck, but you get something like this that pops up when you search OTACLE. So add P1 to your search, and that may help you. So, with that said, do I think this is a good tool? Do I think it's a bad tool? I think this is a fantastic little tool. The three things that I would like to see Olight change is, one, do something, either remove the wire cutters or make them deeper, because they're really not deep enough to bite on anything. When I go to cut a small piece of wire, it keeps wanting to slip out of the jaws, and it's hard to push it in and cut. And it's not really good for this. I wish that they'd maybe round the edges off, like a pruning shear or something, so that it like holds the wire in place as it cuts. That would be good to see. Or just remove those and notch this down a little bit and make the plier head of the normal plier section here a little bit bigger. That would be nice to see. That's the one gripe that I have. The other gripe, and it's not really a gripe, I'm not going to call this a negative about the tool, but it's something that I think they should consider, and that is the placement of the ring here. I think that should go opposite the scissors. I do think that would be doable, the way the scissor handle is shaped here. If they would put the ring over here somehow, or on, say, the bottle caps thing here, because you're never going to use that, that would be great, because that's going to get in the way when you want to go use your Phillips head. And then the other gripe I would say is just change this tool altogether. Now, some of you use bottles a lot. This tool might be your little pride and joy, your gem in the rough. Go for it. Enjoy it. But I personally do wish Olight would swap this out for even something as simple as this, where it's like a orange peel texture nail file with a flat head. Let's see, what can we compare off of this? Something fancier, like a parcel hook, or not a parcel hook, but like a parcel opener, something like that. But I personally would like to see them do some sort of file here, like the SOG does. That would just be fantastic for them to do, like a file with a little scraper tip to it, like what the Leatherman Juice has. I think they would do a lot better if they would do that. I don't know if there's copyright issues for trying to imitate the juice too closely. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what all they would do to do that. But I would like to see this changed. I find the can opener more useful than the bottle cap lifter, because the can opener can double as a cap lifter. So, you know, like have that down here and then have like another tool up here, like a mini serrated blade. That'd be cool. Have a can opener down low here and then have like a mini serrated knife blade. That'd be kind of neat. Don't do a gut hook. Don't do that. Please don't. Those things are done for. They're just not all that great. I have some. They do okay, but please don't. So, that is the OLIGHT OTACLE P1. One of my new favorite little tools, despite its flaws that I feel it has. This has been a great little tool, and I would like to see OLIGHT do some changes to it in the future. But as it stands, it will sit in my pockets for a long time. It will be a fantastic, maybe you won't use it all the time, but it'll be there when I want it. And for roughly $20, if you're thinking about getting one, I'd consider getting it, because the blade play is next to non-existent. With all multi-tools, there's a little bit of jiggle in the plier handles. You're just going to have that. There's really no way around it. Even a good Leatherman or a Victorinox has that. So, with that said, I hope you found this video useful. Hope you found it informational. Hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye.